What's up, everybody? We're about to get into it. So I was on Discover Crypto this morning, so it took a second to get set up here, but we're going to be diving into these charts. I got some pretty interesting headlines we got to look at. Also talking about this crash. Is this crash over? Is it just a trick, or is it going to be dropping down, down, down we go? We got a lot to look at today, so everybody get involved here. I am trying to also multi-stream here on BitLab Academy, on my Twitter and BitLab Academy. So make sure if you're checking that out as well. I'm going to post this right now, live now. Come join. There we go. Boom, and promote. Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. We got to talk about these markets, what's going on. But hey, I think I finally got this multi-streaming to work. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. I think this is the first time I've successfully made this multi-stream on YouTube and X at the same time. I had a little bit of a scare the other day when my homeboys here, Investing Bros, had their channel taken down for no reason. So I tried to make it an absolute focus here to figure out how to make sure I could get this on multiple platforms. Shout out to Army Piper here in the house, Green Day Prophets. We got all the family in here. Token Tide, Temptress, Chris Pfaff, Sawtooth Tiger, Alexander G. How's everybody doing? We got to talk about what's going on in this market because it is shaking some people's emotions up and it is stealing your money if you're not willing to look at strategy and where this is going versus just being triggered by every movement in this market. And I will tell you right now, this is just a fact. And right, it might only be a fact for the time being, but I've been nailing basically the calls on what the different levels we're going to be going to, reversals, so on and so forth here on the BitLab stream. So welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name's Kelly Kellum. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're feeling grateful. Let's start this stream. Let's start this day grateful, especially if you're going to enter the charts. If you're entering mad, if you're entering needy, if you're entering emotion, none of that's going to serve you. You're just going to be here donating your money to stronger players in this market, and make no lie about it to yourself. No matter how good of an investor you are far from the top. We have algorithms we're trading against. We have BlackRock and Fidelity and Van Eck and Coinbase itself and other traditional asset players that are coming into this market, and just large waves of new participants, especially since January 10th, when this market got opened up with the ETFs, but then also futures we've had for a couple years now. But as people become more aware, we're getting bigger money players come into this market, and they're able to just tempt you with those feelings of hope and greed. So let's talk about it, because when we're looking at this and we say, oh my God, the price is crashing, it is crashing down, it's over. Let's go back and just remind ourselves. Let's go out to the daily chart. Let's remind ourselves what it is that we are not allowing ourselves to see. Massive uptrend back here since basically we had the bottom from FTX collapse, consolidation, little fake out, but then boom, right here at the start of the year, literally right after New Year's, boom, this started moving to the upside, started the bull trend on this tap here. And this was not the start of the bull trend in early January. It was right here on this pullback right here, basically setting a higher low is what really started to define this uptrend. And we've just been doing this all the way since. And what we're seeing here is a massive macro bull flag. We are still within, if we look at this on this chart right here, we are still within that 160, 170 day time frame right here. This is a box I drew around it. We're sitting here at 131 days post-halving. We've been talking about this for days. We've been talking about this for months. We've been talking about this for over a year, what we are going to expect once we got past this date right here. Where we at? This date right here, this halving date, and how price action has happened post-halving the last two cycles. And we're seeing this currently still holding that structure. So let's be a little more calm. We also have this trend line all the way back here from January 2021. Support, resistance. And look at what we just tapped when we had that massive sell-off, the real sell-off, August 5th, right at the end of July, boom, when we had boom all the way down here, came right to that same trend line. So this is really a metric that I'm really looking at, or a level I'm looking at. This is where I really start to get worried. If we break down back and tap into this $53,000 zone where this chop was, and if we lose this level, that's when we can look to lower. As it stands right now, there's nothing frightening to me about what this is looking like. It's just a mechanism to steal your money, to steal your profits, to steal your sentiment. It's capturing your sentiment and allowing you, basically triggering you to give your money away. So let's go through some of the things we want to talk about today. If this is your first time here, again, because this is the first time I'm double streaming on Twitter, my name is Kelly Kellum. We're here doing meaningful content, tools, community, empowering community. This is not a troll space. This is how do we grow together? How do you learn from mistakes I made? How do you not lose $80,000 in one trade like I did years ago? You know, you're still going to take losses, but how do you mitigate your losses, and how do you stack up the probabilities in your favor so you can make incredible longer term position trades, but also diving into those smaller time frames and figuring out where those levels are. That's what this is about. So let's go ahead and dive in here and look at what we're talking about here. So what we're looking at, price is still over $2 trillion, the market cap is still over $2.1 trillion here on the crypto market. Bitcoin still sitting here, $1.15 trillion. Ethereum finally lost that 300 billion mark. BNB sitting here at 77 billion, which is interesting because we have a story about Binance today that we have to look at. And just for any of you that are new here, I integrate some stories, some topics, a lot of charts from around Twitter and different people I highly respect and follow. But then also we break down a lot of TA and breaking down exactly the patterns we're looking at and how we can assess what the probabilities are and how we can set ourselves up for success. That's what this is about. So if you can get behind that, everybody, whether you're here in YouTube or here in Twitter, drop a 1 in chat if you're feeling excited about this market, regardless of the price action, because I cannot wait to see what is coming here in the near future. Let's make sure we stay prepared. Now, market's still looking good. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a pullback. We just had a massive uptick. Remember, price was on August 6th, $49,000. Tapped down in there, zipped right back up, but the price is still looking relatively healthy, sitting here at 58,000. As Scott Melker says it from the Wolf of Wall Streets, price has been essentially plus or minus just doing deviations around the $60,000 mark since March. Nothing's happened. People are getting super excited and super fearful, and nothing structurally has changed. We need to be a little bit more patient in this market. We come in thinking we're going to jump in this market, we're going to buy 3 coins, we're going to be rich in a month. It doesn't work like that. There are stories that it happens to some people, but there's also stories where people get struck by lightning, and yet it's still a very substantial statistical improbability. So that's what we need to realize here. Let's stack ourselves into probabilistic profit rather than just jumping at lottery tickets. So let's continue on here. I'm going to get through these stories because I want to look at the charts. I want to dive into all of this with you in deep fold here in just a moment. Where was I at? Right here. So Binance complies with Israeli requests and seizes Palestinian funds. Whether or not you are on this side, or you're a human and you're on the human side, this is not okay when we're talking about what's going on especially with how, crypto is supposed to be agnostic to all governments. But you have to remember, this is why it's so important to understand that centralized exchanges are not wallets. Centralized exchanges are not where you go and store your funds. Centralized exchanges and DEXs, anywhere that's not in your self-custody, is just you using the market like a bank. And the whole reason Bitcoin and the crypto market really sort of persisted out of nothing is because it is essentially set against its juxtaposition, or at least it's supposed to be, to the basically ruling elite in the global banking. So when you're storing all of your assets on an exchange, you're setting yourself up for failure. So that's why also this channel is powered by Arculus. I do want to just suggest, if you are storing all of your assets on an exchange, that is not a wallet. Get a wallet, get a hardware wallet, get a software wallet. And for me, my favorite crypto cold storage solution is the Arculus. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code LAB10 for 10% off. It's to me, the most secure way to store your crypto. Uses the card there that has that chip there. The guy that basically started Arculus, which is part of Complies Secure, he's the guy that has a patent for designing these, and they've never been hacked. And you use that, your phone, and also your biometrics. So it's very, very secure. Make sure you're storing it. But getting back to this story, this, whether or not you agree with this or not, this basically brings a little bit of questionability about what's going on. Now, Binance is also somewhat buoyed by the fact that CZ was moved to house arrest and likely getting out soon. But it'll be interesting to see how this sort of shapes what's going on in the market there for BNB and other parts of this sort of sentiment around crypto and altcoins. Now, not similarly, but in addition to that, we also see bullish news. Bitcoin holdings of publicly listed firms increased to 20 billion in 1 year. 1 year. Bitcoin holdings of publicly listed firms, this means basically the traditional space, has increased to 20 billion in 1 year. A survey showed that 26% of institutional investors of wealth managers support Bitcoin's use case as a reserve asset. This is the type of thing I like to hear. We don't need to go too deep in that. It's the headline we're talking about because we're going to be looking at these charts. That's what we're going to be jumping into here in just a moment. Looking on to the next story here, we got Cardano blockchain gears up for its biggest upgrade on September 1st. So expect a little bit of volatility around that, but also you're going to have to ask yourself, depending on your own risk matrix and what your goals are in this market, ask yourself how you're positioning. I would never, same with, if you're going to hold one crypto at all, the one crypto you'll hold is Bitcoin. If you're going to hold a basket of things, Cardano still, they're building out a lot of stuff. It's a much longer term time horizon. They're also very difficult to program with from what I hear from developers. So that may be a hurdle that may limit their ability to see massive gains. However, they do also have an incredibly strong community. So I'm not counting it out as, having some good price action. Now, will it get back above 3? Will it get to 5? We will have to see. We can break that down here in the charts in a few minutes. What's up, Ethan Smith? What's good, fam? Big love to you. Shout out to everybody here. How many people we got in here? 204 people in the room right now. Let's go. Everybody hit that like button. We're going through very briefly about 3 or 5 minutes looking at a couple of news stories, and we're jumping right into the charts. We're going to be breaking down some targets and levels. So TONcoin whales waking up after the price collapse. This might also have something to do with Pavel being released in France. So that may also have something to do with United Arab Emirates putting a massive 80 fighter jet purchase agreement that they had with France on hold because they were, basically because they had arrested him. So it's nice to see, it's interesting to see parts of the world that we used to think were so draconian are actually the ones standing up for freedom of speech. We need to switch some things up here, but there's that. And then a couple other things. Breaking news, Hong Kong's hash key exchange secures approval to list AVAX and LINK. So this is in the Hong Kong and the Asian markets there. They're starting to broaden out and getting a few more opportunities for different assets. And what do they choose? Avalanche and LINK. We can see this in the headline right here as well, looking at this as it loads. Hashkey Exchange, we see this signaling growth in Hong Kong's Web3 sector. So this also starts to show the evolution and the growth in what they're thinking about crypto as a whole, but also what's going on just broadly with just the considerations of the elites and the parliamentary. I don't really know how the government works over there, but whatever their government works in the CCP. But this is great, especially as that sector is kind of waking up to having another alternative as something that's outside of their closed system. That is very bullish. So we can look at both of these as well here in a few minutes. But why did the price drop? Let's go through this from Crypto Quant really quickly. Price dropped 65 to 58 over the last 2 days, while Ethereum saw a move from basically $2,800 to $2,380, $2,380. And what we're seeing here is short-term holders created resistance at their break-even price. What the hell is Crypto Quant talking about? I bring this up here on BitLab Academy on a regular basis. So make sure you're tuned in here on a regular, make sure you're following either me here at Kelly Kellum or at Academy BitLab. Make sure you're following here on YouTube, hitting that like button, showing some love. But what we're seeing here is actually this metric right here. Come in here to the dashboard. Let's go to short-term holder cost basis. It is this zone right here. The price action fell below it, came up, had a little deviation back above it, fell back down, tested it again, and currently is falling back down. Got rejected at it. What is this? What is a STHCB, if you see that in a Twitter post, or short-term holder cost basis? Essentially, it is the average price of every coin that has been moved in the last 155 days, the last time it moved. So if I sell you a coin today, then for 155 days, that coin, that specific coin's average price would be 58,918. Now you take that against every other coin that has been traded in the last 155 days, and it gives you the average price. Now, why that metric? Because they've done a lot of studies on coins pre 155 day mark and post, and there's an exponential drop off a cliff of coins that tend to move in market volatility. So you have people that are just speculators, that are just tourists in the space, that they hop in because their cousin or their brother or their neighbor, or maybe it's a YouTuber, it gets them excited about Bitcoin, but they don't understand market movement. So they buy a top, they buy something like right here, and they end up selling right here. It's like, oh my God, same thing here. They might have bought, somewhere in this region and it dropped, and maybe they did have the courage to hold, but then it came right back to their, that sort of average buy price that they got it at, and they jump out because they can't handle the volatility. And then you also have people that are loving this volatility, which are people that understand that volatility, for those that can sort of approximate it and set up the probabilities in their favor, it allows them the ability to basically trade those moves. And all the trading, those are short-term holders as well, right? For those tokens they're trading. But all that means they're also going to take advantage of the volatility. So what we're seeing right now can be a little concerning when you think about the over time. You see, once the price action, this is the same chart just zoomed out. Once the Bitcoin price falls below the short-term holder cost basis, this has actually marked massive bear trends. Once we get back above it, massive bull trends. We're just using it as support all the way up. Back below it, massive bear trend. Back above it, little mini bull trend into a little mini bear trend. And then again, massive bull trend above the short-term holder cost basis. And so what we're seeing right now, this cycle is different. This cycle is different in the fact that nothing's ever going to be the same as previous cycles. So what we're seeing right now is a slight variation on how the behavior is in the price as it relates to where the short-term holder cost basis is. Now, why is this? One, there's a little more maturity in the market, but two, there's newer players coming in. So there's also new immaturity coming in the market, but we also have the speculation coming in around here. Like, I honestly think that this price action right here likely would have had a bigger dip, similar to what we're seeing when we looked at the cycle. Let's actually look at it on the chart. Similar to what we would see if we're looking at the cycle right here when we had this massive uptick up here, right? Boom. And then this sell-off. We got this move right here that came below the short-term holder cost basis. Now, what also happened? What happened right here? This was also, let's see, what's the date? It happened right in this zone, right in here. This, where is it at? Yeah, right in this zone here. Somewhere in the zone, we had the BlackRock spot ETF application put in. And that sort of started changing, and the news got out, and it started changing the narrative about what was possible. Then you have that positive speculation, which positive speculation doesn't always mean price go up. In this case, I think it buoyed or prevented a further drop in this zone here, which is why we got this, push up, support, push up, support. But look at this, much smaller push up, almost a double top. This is why I do believe this likely would have come down, but the nature, the context of the market, the participation or the awareness about what participation was going to be started shifting here because BlackRock started entering the fray, flipping their context entirely from Bitcoin as an index for money laundering to this is the best asset in history. And then what we got basically the speculative pump into the approval. The approval got to sell the news. Look at where it bounced right on the short-term order cost basis. And now we're just kind of coming now with like, it's insanely bullish how many capital channels we now have access to the Bitcoin spot ETFs, Bitcoin through these Bitcoin spot ETFs, and the number of institutions and corporations that are just stacking in to this asset class, as we saw in Q1, Q2, and we'll likely see, like we saw a little dip in Q2, but we will likely see a massive pump into 2025 as this year wraps out. Now, what does it mean for where we're at right now? Well, it means that everybody right now is being a little impatient. They're going, why isn't it pumping? Again, we have this measurement, 131 days, which is this lower one right here, and 160 to 170 days. That measurement of how price action interacted post-halving. This is where the halving was last time, 158 days. Okay. We see this in the cycle before that. The halving was roughly right here, 155 days. Okay. And what are we doing right now? We're looking for about a 160-day mark. Where does that put it? Right on the dot. That would put us right about the last week of September. Now, what's right before the last week of September? That's when the Fed interest rates will likely, they're not guaranteed, but I think it's more likely than not going to get cut, which will likely see some volatility coming into that date. There could be price action up, price action down, but I do think that this will resolve into this time period on the upper bound of this zone, and then into the mid-October and end of October, I do think we will start to see some incredible price action to the upside. So why are we so frustrated right now? Let's actually close this out. But also, so this is that coming into the short-term order cost basis. In addition to that, we also saw the open interest, which I've talked about a lot here. Open interest rose. This is people betting derivatives and leverage, essentially taking loans from exchanges to bet more than they have. Now, so there's very good traders that do it and institutions that do it as a hedge against other trades. But more inexperienced players come in and say, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to 10X my whole portfolio. And then you do what I did several years ago and you lose $70,000 or $80,000 in a trade and you go, I'm never doing that again. No, you take small calculated percentages of a portfolio that you're going to spot trade and then also leverage trade. If you're going to leverage trade, make sure you do it smart. And speaking of that, we do have the CoinW partnership that is absolutely cooking right now. We got the Telegram opened. I just want to let you guys know right now we have, I think, 1 day left. I have the tweet here somewhere. My computer is running very slow. We do have 1 day left on this promotion. If you sign up with this link, I will post this in the live chat right now. If you go and retweet that, but also if you sign up on this link right here, join here. By tomorrow, you deposit $100, you get $100. Deposit $200, you get $200. You deposit $3,000, you get $1,000. Now, given you need to do a little bit of trading, but just for these hundreds and 200s, you get this basically free money that you can trade with in this account. And you also get access to our free, basically signals group that allows you to have access to the signals that we're looking at. It takes you to, it's directly below my directly below the video. If you scroll down below the video, you'll see right here, it says Free Traders Group. I did not put this. Let me put this up pinned in the top of the live comments there. Let me pin that in there. Boom. If you sign, you can also find the sign up link through that right there. And it takes you to the access to Signal Labs. Why can't I pin this? Because I am not. I got to do it here. My bad. Boom. Pin, comment. There, it takes you, that Telegram link takes you to this right here. And basically it shows you step one, register. If you've already registered, then you need to find your CoinW UID, which you can see right there. where the arrow is when you open it up, essentially on mobile, you'll see the account thing, and then you'll see next to your face UID and the number. That UID, you just come in here in the bottom, you type /verify, and then you have to type in whatever your numbers are with no parentheses, no brackets, just /verify space and the numbers, put it in, and it will give you see, this won't verify me because I'm not registered under this specific link. You have to be, even if you have a CoinW account, you'll have to create another to trade with us here. And then it takes you to the Signals Lab. And there's been some great calls in here, profits both directions. We're doing TA as well as signal calls in here. I put some stuff in spot trading. I'm going to be adding more to this. I got all this education stuff coming out here very soon. You'll get access to this. And there's also live trading sessions that are in here as well. So make sure you take advantage of it while you can, because right now we still have that ability to get those bonuses, which are, at that link. So sign up today or tomorrow, get involved. And I'm bringing in some other really great people. It's a consortium of other professional traders in there. So you're going to get more than just me. You're going to get some really, really great stuff. So let's continue talking about what's going on in this market. SEC isn't stopping, says Wolf of Wall Street's. OpenSea now has a Wells notice. Okay, for all of you NFT players out there, just SEC, it would be nice if we had a different approach from the administration or a different administration. I'll just say that. Now looking beyond, okay, now this is a consideration. We're coming into September. I'm talking about a pump soon. A pump soon in a macro market does not mean tomorrow. A pump soon can mean the setup is brewing for that to break out. Now, when we look at the September performance of Bitcoin, we see 1, 2, 3 out of, I think, was it 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 3 out of 13 have been bullish Septembers. The rest have been bearish. But I'll take it one step further. Let's look at 2020 and let's look at 2016, because there's a key big event that happens in the U.S. I don't know what that was. It sounded like a gunshot. Hope it wasn't. So we can see 2020, we had a green year. 2016, wait, so 2020, we had a red year. Sorry, I was looking right here. So we've had a red September in 2020. We had a green September in 2016. So if you look at those cycle years, I'm trying to stop getting demonetized for saying words that we should all be able to say as citizens. Like selection. I'll just say that. You'll know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't want you to look at this and go, it's nearly always bearish. It's going to be a bearish September. I do think that we will have quite a bit of bearish price action or chop, especially with liquidations in September. However, I don't think it's a given we're just going to have a bearish September, because we look at where we're at when we're looking at the price action on the chart, and we see that we're just inching up on that timeline of the sideways consolidation that's happened post-halving before we come into this. Also considering so much capital channel is just coming in here. It's only a 15% drop back to 48,900 for September. Let's see what that looks like. 15% drop to 48,900. Let's look. Let's measure your math there. You're probably right. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually perfect. So this is the line, and I talked about it a second ago. This support, resistance. This would essentially be two things. With this, everybody throw a 1 in chat or comment down below. Do you think this would be a final washout if price action did come sub 53,000? So there's no telling how deep it would go. Would this make you capitulate? Would this scare you? Would you be aping in? What would you do if the price action did have this break down into the zone with this multi-year trend line that has acted as a support and resistance? We even had a fake out here, came right back down and then sliced right through it like butter. But we've got this rising support. We have this horizontal resistance, prior resistance that is now, are we going to flip it to support? We have once with this quick washout, but then we also have this massive order block that is right in here. Now, when we look at, I think I have it up right here. When we look at the velodata.app chart, when we look at this on, for instance, let's look at it on the weekly. We still have relative, I won't call it super high open interest, but we had super high open interest here when the FTX collapsed. Boom. Let's make this a little larger. Now, this has been slightly on the rise, but I would argue that the open interest isn't like just out of control. We are right now seeing quite a sustained, the majority is shorting. Aggregated premium percentage, meaning right here, when this is very red, this means a lot of people are shorting. So the setup is just brewing for this getting exhausted and just getting that launch. And then look, once you get the launch, boom, it dips back down. Everybody flips short and then it launches. And then again, it happened right in here where we had a little bit of redness and had a little bit of a pump before the breakdown, but we're still locked in. We're still locked in to, where is my box? We're still locked in essentially to these two zones right here, which is essentially what we're fighting to get through. And part of the reason is we have such large players in the space now. The supply-demand dynamic has already been there to send prices higher, but the problem is we don't have anybody that's willing to take that rushing lead yet, because as Tim Warren says from Investing Bros, when retail misses the boat, you miss the boat. When institutions miss the boat, especially in this small asset, Bitcoin is a small asset compared to these other global asset classes, right? They're able to bring the boat back. And I think they're trying to stack up as much as possible before this just gets running away. In addition to the fact that we have a big date in November that everybody's kind of waiting on to, because there's going to be speculation around both sides of what's going on there. So when we're looking at this, and we saw, and remember, I called this out in the BitLab Discord and in the Telegram group, but I was talking about this here before it broke down, the little small price action to the downside. We had a little bit of a bull flag, but then it continued. It started looking like a Bart Simpson pattern. We had this impermanent imbalance right here with this candle. Didn't have my breakfast this morning. I've been eating only bone broth for breakfast, and I start getting hungry about it right now. This sort of imbalance right here with just massive candlestick starting to get the Bart Simpson. We get the lower low. This is telling us, boom, this is why I barked out these two targets. We got a little more of a wash than I was expecting, but that's okay. That's okay. And then we continued on there. We talked about it. We highlighted those levels further and then showed that, they were getting hit. And so where we're sitting at right now with the price action dipping a little bit lower, it's not the end of the world. I'm looking next at if this does continue down, which is starting to feel like with the stochastics on the daily rolling over, with the momentum rolling over, with negative money flow, with all this on the BitLab trading stack dashboard, bearish, bearish, neutral, neutral, bearish, bearish. So 4 out of 6 signals on this oscillator are showing a bearish setup, and this is coming down right into this zone. This is telling me we're likely going to be coming down potentially 56, 57 sort of region. And if we lose that, we're going to reassess the data when we get there. But we are looking at a strong possibility of testing this low or even flushing out a little bit below it. Now, when we look at this on the 4 hour, what does this look like? On the 4 hour, it looks like it's trying to set up a little bit of a bounce. This is why it's important for you to look at large time frames and then break it down to a little bit smaller and then break it down to like a trigger time frame. So if I'm looking at the daily, then I go down to the 4 hour, then I look at the 1 hour for the setup, and I pull my trigger on like a 15-minute. So looking at this is looking weak. Broke down, it tried to come up. It already got, this is just looking like a bear flag as it stands right now. So if this is a bear flag, option T, we can do it. We'll be conservative. The measurement out of that, look, that brings it down here below this target we talked about, down into this 54, which would be attacking this essential previous low as it is here. But I do things are on a razor's edge right now, especially we have the NVIDIA reports coming out today, this evening after the market close. And so we're seeing a lot of, like, you see Bitcoin moving down, you see Cardano moving down, you see Avalanche moving down, but then you come over here to things like Render, kind of having a move down, but it's struggling to maintain this hopium because of the NVIDIA earnings report. So let's go through some of these. Let's look at Avalanche because it was in that news article. So we talked about this. I haven't looked at this since. We talked about the possibility of going like this. That did not happen. But we saw this this head and shoulders right here. And from that head and shoulders, we measured that out. The head and shoulders was suggesting a move down to tap this area. Well, if we look at this just like this, look at where the price action came down and initially found it's a little bit of a footing. Right at the target, which also has to coincide with where these range tops were right here. So the price action is trying to do its best to have a reversal, but looking at this, we have the momentum wave starting to clip, but this looks like it's trying to make the next leg down, which I think will be attacking down into this potential low 20s, about 2177 to 2215 sort of zone for Avalanche, which I'm not mad about. I'm actually looking forward to this because I'm looking at allocating some money next week. So I'm like, go. Give us that opportunity. Go lower. We're not going to be mad if it goes down. We're going to be prepared. And if we're not prepared, then if you have your allocation set up based on understanding the fundamentals, you like the project, you see where it's going, but the market is just taking a little bit of a shakeout dip, then stop being so frustrated. Get outside of a chart every 20 minutes. Go and play with your kids, play with your dog, make some art, play guitar, sing a song. You know what I mean? But as it stands right now, this market is setting up for that next major move to the upside. But we're just getting, some of this stuff is just flushing people out. When we come over here to, was it the Bitcoin, there we go. Tony, the Bitcoin bull. This chart that we shared yesterday, we see that volatility has broken out here. Look at what we saw back here in 2013 into early 2017. This is where the volatility broke out. Look at where we were in price action. It's also where we're at previous all-time high. What happened? We broke out the volatility, found support, and then the volatility, bam, expanded. What did we just see? A breakout of the volatility. We're sitting here at previous all-time high. We have more capital channels than we've ever had in Bitcoin, more interest, more just flow, and more knowledge around what's going on here. And we have, when we look at the analog of Bitcoin as it relates to where price is, when we look at the analog of Bitcoin as it relates to the internet adoption, that would suggest that where we're at right now with the number of Bitcoin users to where we're going to be by 2030 suggests a 10x in new users coming in. What is that going to do in price? In addition to the corporations and institutions that just started their early adopter phase of what's happening right now in, foraying into Bitcoin now that the Bitcoin spot ETFs are here. So this should make you super bullish. And then, we come back over here to Mustache. We talked about this yesterday, but I just want everybody, come on, I want everybody to be prepared for what's coming. Now, altcoins. Shared this 1 hour ago. I haven't even seen it. So most people are currently in a bear market mode, but this attitude was right in 2022, not yet. I'm playing the long-term game. So what we're seeing here is a price action finding, just bouncing, boom, boom, boom. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces. RSI was just getting stronger bounces on the way up. Yes, we got a pretty big impulse here. We're finding support here. I want everybody to realize something. When they're talking about alt season, I don't think we're going to have a real alt season until likely sometime in 2025. That does not mean in any way there's not going to be some incredible growth and some incredible price speculation in the altcoin market. Alt season is defined by when the alts as a whole, like when you look at the others chart or the total 3 chart. When alts are generally just, I mean, you're seeing left and right, 30%, 70%, 50%, 100% they're just outpacing the speed at which Bitcoin is running. It tends to happen after Bitcoin has made some pretty strong strides to the upside. And some of that capital that's going into those altcoins is from the capital rotation out of Bitcoin, but also not only that, that's not the only thing it's marked by. It's also because when Bitcoin starts breaking 100,000, 120, 140, whatever those numbers are, there's no telling what price it's going to do. But when it starts breaking those numbers, it also becomes the self-fulfilling number one marketing engine of anything that's ever happened, because people are still in shock in the world. You and I are not, but there's more and more people becoming aware of Bitcoin. And when the price goes up, every mainstream news media starts talking about it as well. And then people go, oh, I got to get in on that. And people don't understand that you don't have to buy a Bitcoin. I would love everybody to get to a Bitcoin, but people are so resistant to starting. They're like, I don't have $58,000 to buy a Bitcoin today. Do you have $12? Okay, go buy $12 worth of Bitcoin. That sort of cognitive dissonance, that sort of lack of understanding also drives people to go say, because they also don't understand token supply and market cap. So they go, well, I can't afford 58,000, but this Shiba Inu or this Floki or this, and I'm not hating on any project. I'm just using them all example. Even something like Cardano or Near, doesn't matter. They see a $5 price tag on that and they go, ooh, if this goes to the price of Bitcoin, it's like, you don't understand token supply. That's not how it works. But people do have price bias. And when we get the flood of new adopters coming into the market, you and I and all of us here, we need to educate them so they do not just step in dog shit thinking they're going to get rich. And I apologize for the language, but we got to keep it real here sometimes. So let's get back into these charts. We got a couple more things we can look at before we go. All right, how many people in here? We got 385 people watching between Twitter and the YouTube. Everybody hit the like button. Drop a comment down below. We talked about this on Discover Crypto, but if you had to pick 3 altcoins, to hold from now until the market cycle tops sometime in probably mid to late 2025, what 3 altcoins would you be like, these are the 3? And hopefully they're not all top cap coins. Let's get a little bit broad range. I'm curious. Do it in the live chat or comment down below. I want to see what you guys are looking at and what you're excited about, so we can make sure that we're making content around the things they're looking at and hope maybe educate you away from some of them. But when we're looking at everything going on here, I know some of the 3 that I would do. Excuse me. It's all about the blockchain, baby. The 3 that I would do are, and I'll do 4. Would be Near. Let's go ahead and look at Near. And just because Near, I know for a fact they're building very deeply in a lot of the different AI protocols and also things within their ecosystem that are basically layer 2s on top of Near. Many different things that they're doing. Below Sleevel. I don't know how to say that. He says, always great TA here at the BitLab. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you for anybody that tunes in on a regular basis. Everybody that subscribes, every one of you members, you help keep us going. You help me. I was able to bring Morel on to help with some of the stuff we're doing at Telegram. It comes from those membership deals that you guys do. It really does help support the channel. So I do appreciate it. So let's look at this. Near. We got Near. I'll go over a couple of these community member ones here. I got you, Ethan Smith. Let's do a big tip. Shark, we'll bring that up as well. But let's go ahead and look at this. Near, when we understand where this has been, let's go to daily. Now, yeah, I mean, this is just, it's been kind of just chopping itself out. We can clean this up a little bit. Let's just do it like that. Boom. So we're just kind of holding on. We marked this out a few days ago with this price action that we're seeing here. Let's kind of look, if we zoom in on it, it's kind of a head and shoulders. See a little bit of a shoulder, a little bit of just weak price action. We broke below it, came up, retested it, broke down, and went right into the target that we talked about. Now it's dropping below that. But in terms of an opportunity for where this price action in this cycle, I think this is going to do very well. Now, this is the level I'd be looking at, and this is right where it's at. That's funny. I was like, this is the level we're looking at because this chop zone right here coming right into the zone right here. But I'd be starting to look for a sort of position play on this. If this does drop a little deeper, we'd be looking at this order block zone right here, basically low fours, 410 to 404 sort of range right in here. I think would be a good opportunity. But what we're seeing right now is we're getting a little bit of that washout. If Bitcoin drops down to $50,000, we're going to see it more blood and more opportunities. So be very careful with the positions you're taking right now. If you're either willing to endure some bit of chop between now and when it gets let loose, or doing, smaller time frame and having your stop losses and so on and so forth set. But I'm still very bullish on NEAR in this market. I'm also very bullish on Tau. Since I did the video breaking down what Tau was after I watched that documentary, I was like, yeah, this is legit. And I think, the fact that this bounced 100, nearly 100, look at that, right at just shy of 100% bounce on that recent washout, shows me that the bulls are really defending this. Now this came down. We talked about this on the push up. If this rejects here, we're looking at retesting this range right here, which it has. It's starting to drop down. So what I'm looking at, next target 278. If we lose this and come further down, for instance, like this 255 level, I'm position buying this. I'm not trading this. So I'm looking at an opportunity in this zone, 279, 277. Also opportunity here at 255. Potentially, if it goes lower, then I'll figure out. I'll be reallocating some stuff, moving some money around to take advantage as well. Again, none of this is financial advice. I want you all to realize this. This is the strategies that I'm using, that I'm looking at for why I'm doing what it is I'm doing in this market. Now, another one I'd be looking at, and I've been talking about this a lot because understanding what this asset is doing in the space is truly, truly incredible. Let me go ahead and pull this up. There we go. 1 second. Yeah. So understanding, one of the ones that I really do, Drew put me onto it. And then we took a partnership with this company because they have such a solid foundation with the integrations they have with the Department of Defense, with the Space Force, with partnerships with IBM and Panasonic, integrations they're working on right now with the Pentagon, and that is Constellation DAG. When we look at Constellation DAG, remember, zooming out on this, nice falling away. We had this giant downtrend here. This was just on the speculation. They have been building in the background for like 5 years, taking on silent partnerships, being utilized. They've only in recent months been pushing out to the public. And they also have the $100,000 hackathon that they've been doing. They have like 580 different new developments that are coming on through that. And there's going to be obviously a winner of that. But just some of the stuff that they're doing is astounding. And we see that this breakdown in a falling wedge has a bottoming pattern sort of right in here. We talked about this breakout to the upside. I said about 3 days ago, watch for a retest. Let's bring it in here. Watch for a retest back into this trend line. And this is where we're at right now. And there happens to be an order block here too. If this does drop further, I'm a net buyer on this. This is for me, a position I'm holding in through a good part of the bull run, and likely have just a long-term hold on this because of what we saw with CrowdStrike, shutting the world down from that centralized security issue. Well, Constellation DAG, with their metagraphs and everything they're doing, end-to-end encryption, the partnerships they already have with the DoD, working on stuff with the Pentagon, there's so much that they're doing right now that I think is because of these things. The 2.9 billion records stolen recently from the government, it's because they're not using decentralized encrypted systems. So this is why I'm so bullish on this project, and they've got a great team as well. So definitely, I'm a net buyer in this. As I look at it here, I do think there's a possibility for it to come down and test in the 2.2 cents, potentially back down here. Could be all the way back down in here, but I'm leaning more bullish on this. But respectful of the chop that is going to likely happen in the altcoin market between now and the end of September. So be patient. Don't think if this bounces, you don't need to just ape in on a leverage trade. Look for positions to take, for me, I'm looking for positions to take longer term. Another one I'm looking at, and this comes back to Ethan Smith and Big Tip Shark, of course, Link. We got to look at Link. This is unquestionably one of the better assets in the crypto ecosystem with the number of partnerships they have. We have this falling wedge that we identified the other day. We had this big washout to the downside, but look at this. It came up. Price action came up, created M formation, head and shoulder. It's not really head and shoulders, but this reversal pattern. We formed an order block within this, and this dropped down, came up, confirmed the breakdown, and came down. Where did it tap? Right into this order block, which we talked about the other day. Said if it loses this, we'll likely be flushing down into this order block region. And what happened? Boom, flushed into it. We tried to get a bit of a resurgence. But if the majority of the market is going to be pulled down, then we got to look for what are targets to the downside. And this is telling me that this is likely going to test down into the lower side of this, down here into the 1078. And if we lose that, then I do think that we'll be testing back down here into the lower 10s on Chainlink. But I'm bullish on this for the duration of the bull market. So I'll be looking at opportunities for my position bags, meaning coins I'm looking to hold into the middle end of next year, taking advantage of we do get opportunities down. Also, IXS, says Ethan Smith. Let's look at IXS. Ethan Smith. Okay, this is starting to look like this. Now, same thing with everything. Everything's having a little bit of a bearish tinge on it right now. We're seeing this sort of stair step, boom, stare, boom, stare. If this is the case, then I'm looking at this retesting at minimum here to 2756. And if we lose that, then, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I just moved a coin. I don't know which coin I moved, but it's whatever. This has been about 45% move, 56% move. I think if we're getting near, like if the crash is over and we're not seeing that much to chop, I do think that this has a strong possibility of coming down, breaking somewhere in here, and then working its way up like that. But, I like this project as well. Then, of course, Arrow. Got to look at Aerodrome. Aerodrome, we talked about this. Boom, boom, boom. We had this level. It's lost the level. I'm looking for Aerodrome. Likely, look at this. Came up, tested, is trying to break down. I'd be looking at somewhere in here in the mid-50s, potentially, mid to low 50s. And if we lose that, we're coming down here into the 48s for Arrow. But that's a short time frame. And that means if it comes down, if we're talking about longer term positions, we should be excited about the opportunity that may be brewing from that. Now, of course, for anybody that is tuned in here for the first time, we do talk, I would say we focus more heavily on these live streams with the public. I try to focus as much as possible with content that's more position, longer term based. We do a lot of trading stuff as well. We do that more in our private stuff, but you can join for free. Head over to the link that I shared. It's pinned, should be pinned in the top of the live chat. I will comment. It's also directly on YouTube, directly below. I'll put it in the live chat there. It's also directly below the YouTube. If you come over here, BitLab Academy, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy, or type in BitLab Academy. Come here, directly below my face, Free Traders Group. I try not to post this as much on Twitter as possible because there's so many scammers and fakers out there. Get it directly here from the YouTube, or go to my Twitter page and go to that link right here. I just posted it also. It's on my page. I'll retweet it right now. Let's untweet it, undo repost. Now let's redo repost. Boom. You got 1 day left. You deposit $100, you get a free $100. This will all be, the bonuses are given out, I think, on the 29th or the 30th. It might be on the 30th. Deposit $200, get $200. You get access to our traders group, where we're going to be having a number of different professional traders in there. We've already got some in here trading. All you have to do is when you go to that link on that's once you sign up and you go to one of our live streams and you click on that Telegram link, you can sign up here. You can also, once you do, where is it at? Access to Telegram, access to Signals Lab right here. You can join, get your UID and then type in /verify space and then just numbers. Don't put brackets, don't put anything, press enter, and it will allow you. This is not going to allow me because I don't have a UID that signed up through this link, but then you're going to get access to the live trades, the live setups, all the different stuff, the swing trading signals, the take profit, stop loss resistance. So for those people that are looking to actually trade in this market, join us there. But with that, everybody, the market is feeling riper and riper and riper for the impending bullish breakout that's going to come, I do believe, sometime between now and October. The markets can stay, frustratingly aggravating longer than most people can stay solvent because they're so tuned into emotions. Make sure you're on the right side of this and trade with data and with a strong community. Ethan Smith says, from Ethan Smith, I've been talking about IXS for months, but it was on your list on the DC show. But it was on my list on the DC show, was it? I don't remember. I do too many shows. But yeah, I like IXS. There's so many different projects out there that are so good. You just got to build a portfolio that's in line with what you can keep up with and you're interested in. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Thank you for tuning in here. This is the first time I dual streamed also on Twitter. I have no idea how it did over there, but I hope it worked well. I love you guys. If you are watching this over on Twitter, drop a comment down below as I asked, what coins you're interested in holding into this bull market, which ones you're most excited about. And hey, man, we'll be back live tomorrow. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Bringing it back, baby. Adios. Heading over to DJ and Alpha now. Later.